Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the UnFuckIt Discussion. The Unfuckers and I have already been going at it for about 45 minutes, actually. So I don't know where we're even going to jump in. We got a lot of different subjects we're going to jump into tonight. I want to say hi to everyone out in Twitch land. Hi guys on the live stream. If you have anything to say, I could not get Twitch chat to open for me tonight, not for love nor money, and we'll talk about the tech issues in just a minute. But Fred is in there, Brianna's in there, and John is in there. So if you have a question in Twitch, fire it into the Twitch chat, and they'll send it to me over here on the Zoom chat so I can see it. So yes. So yeah, everything's all fucked up. Anyone else noticed? It's all fucked up. We're going to start off here and say we have been jumping in and out of 0 kp in the geomagnetic scale for the last 3 days, and when we pop out of 0, we're only going up to 1. So, as I always talk about, be aware of friends and family and your pets, because things have been really, really, really all over the fucking place. So, like I say, 0 kp, everyone kind of just be aware that this is the time if there's going to be kind of weird events, medical events, things like cardiac, strokes, seizures, emotional and mental breakdowns. This is the time it's going to happen. So that's our opening point on there. I have spent a lot of time, especially this past week, doing research. And I mean the kind of research that takes you all over the internet, from like government websites to other kinds of websites, et cetera, and all the websites are fucking broken. Today alone, I went to the Maltese government website, couldn't even get the homepage to open properly, sent the link over to another friend of mine, said, hey, is it just me? And they were like, no, it's not fucking even loading properly. It's like half the words are all over the place. It was glitching out. Then because we fly to England on Friday, so I went to go check in. I went to the online reservation area. I couldn't get the seats to check. I couldn't get to check in. Finally, ended up having to download the phone app onto my phone to finally kind of glitch through the system to make it work. And even then, one of my girls doesn't have a seat. I could not get her an assigned seat. So couldn't fix it. Could not fix it. Went to another website, it wouldn't load. I went to another website, it wouldn't load. My own website, I went to go look at something, and it was like, why are you loading so slowly? So, and I talked to several people who were like, there was one of my friends in the States, I can't remember what bank she said, the whole banking system was down. She couldn't get into anything, not online, not ATM, nothing. So we're having, it's kind of like, again, the jump of all the glitches, all the internet-based glitches are all over the place. And like I said, is it, I keep questioning, is it literally like, the whole idea, like the Matrix is just fucking falling apart? And the online computer game that is, the online computer game, is just glitching out that badly that now we can't go online to do certain things that we normally would do. It's fucking crazy at the moment. So one of the things I want to talk about, and we had a huge conversation here, the Unfuckers and I, before we went live, is to talk about ourselves glitching out. We talk about the online glitching out, everything, websites glitching out, but the fact that it feels like we ourselves are glitching out, and one of the big specific glitches, if you will, is in memory. And the fact of a lot of people, I'm saying a lot, whereas normally I would say everyone, but we'll say a lot of people are really experiencing huge memory glitches. That kind of stuff where you pick up something and you go to the other room and then you can't remember what you were there for, what you were going to do. You're trying to remember a conversation you had the day before, or even recall when you had the conversation, whether it was yesterday or the day before that, or the week before that. You go to do something and then realize you've actually already done it earlier in the day, but you've forgotten that you've already done that. Put stuff away and go, right, I know I put that away. Where did I put it? Shit, that was only 2 hours ago. And I can't remember where I put that down. My glasses. Oh my God, I cannot tell you how many times this week I have lost my fucking glasses. I've lost 2 pairs of glasses in the house. I have my one pair that sits on my desk. I have one pair that sits on my bedside table. The other 2, one sits in my lab, the other one sits in my kitchen, have vanished without a trace. I probably picked them up and put them somewhere. No idea where. So I want to talk about this because in the conversation we had before we went live, we talked about the fact of at least us, all of us together here, who we have these conversations every week. We get together, we talk about this kind of stuff. And in the groups, we talk about it in the groups openly. There's a lot of people out there who don't know what the fuck is going on. And the concept of losing your memory, and as some people might even say, like losing your mind, is terrifying to people. Terrifying. And a lot of times it's something they don't share with people. It's something that they don't want to, they're afraid to talk about what they're going through because they don't want to be labeled by other people. But they're also afraid, like Alzheimer's is like a prognosis that has been built up for all of us. Anyone who's ever known anyone who had Alzheimer's is a horrifying thought, a horrifying idea. And there's nothing more terrifying to be thinking that you have a disease like Alzheimer's and that you're losing your memory and the thoughts of where that could go. Are you going to get to a stage where all of a sudden you don't remember your own children anymore, etc.? So I want to talk about that tonight because this is not Alzheimer's. I can say this openly to everyone out there on Twitch, all our live audience, everyone here in Zoom. Maybe 1% of people who are going through this may have some form of something like that going on, but the vast majority of people don't. This has nothing to do with age. It has nothing to do with your gender, what your past experiences of what you've been through in your life. Like I've had a lot of people who've talked about PTSD, and they're afraid that that PTSD is their trigger, or people who've had a brain injury, and they're afraid that that brain injury is coming back and causing a problem. No, this is broad spectrum across the board.
You know what, Danny, the other thing I want to add in is that it's kind of like we know that timeline shifts are happening like crazy, right? And that feeds right into the energetics, obviously. So it almost, in some ways, forces them to have to look at things they wouldn't look at before if they happen to have awake friends around.
Yeah, but like we said earlier, though, I don't even want to get into the deeper discussion of trying to sort out what the fuck it is, because like we said, when we're, yeah, absolutely, no, and I get it. But when we're talking about this kind of stuff, and I'm really addressing these comments out there to people out in YouTube land, on Facebook land, on PocketNet land, who are going through this internally, like really worried about themselves and stressing themselves and building up a huge amount of personal anxiety when these kind of things happen where you just start forgetting shit. You can't remember, and like I said, it's those glitches when you're like halfway down the hallway and you can't remember what the hell you got up to go walk to the kitchen for. You got a cup of coffee in your hand, you got a glass of water at your desk, and you're like, okay, well, I'm not getting up for a drink because I got those. Well, what the fuck was I going to the kitchen for? So I want to talk about that because this is broad spectrum right now. I was telling everyone before we went live that my eldest daughter, Quinlan, is just about finished one of her novels. And she's about 400 pages in. And she starts laughing out loud, just roaring laughing. And I'm like, what's going on? She goes, she got halfway through typing up opening paragraph in the next chapter and then totally didn't realize that is exactly the opening for the last chapter she'd written, and she'd completely forgotten that she'd written the last chapter and had to go back and reread the last chapter she'd just written before she could go into the next chapter because she'd forgotten that she'd written it. She's not 57, she's not 47, she's 17. This is not Alzheimer's. This is not a you're getting old and dementia is coming around the corner for you. So, I mean, it's tough. It's really, really tough on people. And I just want to kind of put it out there to everyone who's listening that this is not, it's not just you. It's not just you. And maybe we need to be talking to people, even in our personal lives, a little more openly about this. Dawn was saying earlier that she was talking to her sister and talking about all this kind of stuff and the relief her sister had on her face of knowing that, like, oh my God, it's not just her, that Dawn's now talking about the same kind of thing. There's probably a lot of people in our lives, whether it's family, friends, work associates, etc., who don't get it, who may not have a clue, and maybe they need a little bit of support, a little bit of that kind of moral support, of like a little bit of encouragement of like, it's not just you, this is what's going on. And as we said, you don't even need to get into the big, deep conversation of why. You can maybe explain on a very simplistic level and say, well, we have a geomagnetic field around the planet. And when the magnetic field falls to zero, it can cause all kinds of things and disruptions in the brain, etc. This is well studied, it's well documented. Even if that's, as we know deep inside, that's not the only thing going on. It gives someone a little piece of logic, a little piece of something that says to them, okay, this is real and there's actually a cause, and it's not me, is what it comes out. It's not just me. There's actually reasons for this happening. So I don't know. I just want to put that out there to everyone. Maybe this is, we talk about supporting each other. And it's one of those things that I think that this is one of those points, specifically this one, about being disoriented, about, you know, having those kind of like glitch out moments where you just can't remember what you were doing. You know, the sentence stops halfway through you speaking it out and you can't remember what the sentence was you were just going to say. Let's try and support each other. And like I said, just be aware, maybe we can help everyone else around us a little bit just by talking about it openly, by talking about our own personal experiences of it, and just kind of assuring them that, no, they're not fucking insane. It's just that fucking weird right now. I'm trying to catch up here. It's like everyone's in the chat's just going, Yeah, I mean, yeah, Jess, I was talking to a group of the teens who were over here, having a sleepover at our place last weekend. And one of them jokingly said something. And I was like, well, don't forget. And they were like, oh, fuck, I totally forgot. And I'm like, okay, it's okay. Don't worry about it. He was like, oh, and he got, the kids are teasing him, like, oh, you always forget. And he's like, and he had that look on his face of like, fuck, like he thought he'd forgotten his contact lens case. And I was like, dude, it's okay. And I just said to them, I talked to them a little bit, like, this is the kind of shit that's going on right now. Yeah, and animals right now, yes, I've had so many people talking about their pets, dogs, cats, acting really, really strangely. Our dogs have been glued to our asses for about a week. I literally have been tripping over dogs. It's a wonder I do not have broken legs for how many times I've turned around to walk away and there's been a dog directly behind me. They haven't been sad. They haven't been even what I would call whiny, just really clingy, like they have to be not even next to you, but on you. I sit down and Groot's over and he's got his head right on my lap. Yeah, there you go, Fred. You've got a lap full right now. So when I see like the animals doing this kind of stuff and kids are feeling really, really weird. My youngest, my dude, is how many times in the last couple of weeks he's just made real subtle comments, but just kind of like, things really weird right now, Mom. Things just feel really weird. My older boy saying, Mom, I don't feel right. I just don't feel right. And you try to get him to define, okay, well, how can you define how you don't feel right? As in, physically, is it in your head? Is it your stomach? Is it physically? Do you hurt? Do you feel? No, I'm not sick. I just don't feel right. Shit doesn't feel right. So, it's and Top Cat is sitting on your chest. And it's not like you can pick him up and move him, is it, Anne? There's a lot going on right now. There's a lot going on, and you can see it in the all the craziness. We're going to get into a discussion in. I have to confirm, so do not quote me on this fully yet, because we haven't really confirmed 100%. But on Saturday, January 25th, at 12 noon Central European time, which is 6 a.m. Eastern, I'm sorry, guys, we will be doing another astrology show. It should work out that way. Like I said, we still haven't completely nailed it down yet. And again, it's going to end up being more of a review because of the insanity that has been playing out. Merce, it'll be Saturday, January 25th. It should be, if all plans go as they should, Saturday, January 25th at noon. So, Merce, you're on my time, noon. There we go. So, I'm sure we have a lot of stuff in there. Did I see Megan sneak in here earlier? No, Megan's gone again. Damn. Thought we could pull her up again. And let's see. I'm looking. We have Merce with us, and we have no Jules, and of course no Amina. I was just hoping we might have a few more of the astrology girls in there, just in case we get into that topic today as well. Does anyone want to go on from what we've just been talking about? Okay, so okay, Megan is here. She's just using someone else's phone. There we go. Anyone else want to add anything to that with what I was just talking about before we move on?
I wanted to add something little tiny.
Yeah, go ahead, Merce.
The cats and dogs You mentioned earlier that the electromagnetic field is down,
Very low.
so they might need our support because we generate with our heart an electromagnetic field.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking. And then Anne mentioned that she had her cat on her chest, and that's exactly where the heart is.
Yeah. And that's literally Groot today had his head on my chest, literally pressing me back in my chair here, pushing his head on my chest. So yeah, that's a good comment. I mean, we ourselves have our own electromagnetic fields. So maybe when our pets are doing that, and our kids too, when they're climbing up on your knee, even when they're 17, occasionally. I had all my kids try to sit on my lap today on the couch all at the same time. I almost was crushed, especially when the dogs joined in. Yeah,
Guys,
like
a
that's
little
kind of
fun.
Sorry, Bossy?
I just wanted to throw in the room just a little fun fact, especially for some predator animals like cats or especially dogs who came from wolves. And they found in wolves, they have magnetic sensors, so they can actually see magnetic fields, so to speak. And if your dog or cat really wants to go to your heart,
maybe they can see where
the magnetic field.
Exactly. Maybe they can see where it's the most stable, right?
Let me tell you something I learned. Y'all are gonna love this.
Okay, hit me.
When dogs take a poop and they figure out where they're gonna do it, they are facing north, south. They do it automatically.
I read that before. And I laughed because I'm like, okay, maybe some dogs do, and Groot maybe so, but Rocket poops while he's here. We got too much information. He poops while he's walking. He doesn't stop. No, he just keeps walking and just poops along. And
that's a nervous deal. That's a nervous deal.
Makes me nuts. Makes me nuts. I'm just like, could you please just poop in one spot so we could clean it up? No, you got to poop 15 times while you're walking.
Hey, Dawn, I've got a question on that. Dawn? You've got 9 opportunities, different opportunities in your household. Have you verified that from your own, since you learned that information? Have you looked at the dogs?
Oh, yeah. The first one I looked at was Tux, because you know how he always does that fucking spin and popped it down and straight up north, man.
Really?
And I went there. Yeah. Yeah.
There we go. Okay. Dogs have a sense of magnetism in their butt.
Yeah, and even the turds are laid in grass. Because you know I pick up so many of them. I get a chance to really look at this stuff. But you know, it's
I'm sorry, I have a mental image of Dawn walking around with her compass in the backyard going, oh, look at that turd.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too much
and
fun.
I got big turds and small turds, so I got all kinds of things to look at. But you know, it's kind of funny. I mean, you know, that these animals have that ability because you know, remember I told y'all about that cat I had that he lived in this apartment complex, black cat, and all he did was whoop ass and eat other cats' food. He was possessed. He'd go, wah, wah, you know, like you'd be looking at this cat. I mean, he'd be like looking at you, making the noise and hitting himself.
Yeah.
You know, like he's just crazy. So my husband at that time trapped that cat and drove it 5 miles away into the woods and dumped his ass. He came back. It took him 2.5 months. He crossed 5 major roads to get back. And he showed up on my porch with a limp and he was pissed off.
Hey, listen, there's so many stories of dogs who've traveled hundreds of miles. And that's why, I hate to say it, here in Malta, because I'm on the smaller island, Gozo, people from Malta bring the dogs to Gozo and dump them here. Because then the dog can't find their way back home because you have to get on a ferry to get back to the other island. And they do it
Oh.
deliberately. They do it deliberately. They bring the dog to Gozo, take it up to a field, and just fucking dump it and leave. And go back home to their island. All the time. It's disgusting.
And that's how you met Groot.
Yep.
That's how we got Groot and how we got Rocket. Both of them were rescued. So,
But seriously, who gets a pet like a dog or anything that or a cat that is responsibility, and then says, "Yeah, fuck that. I'm just."
Happens all the time.
all the time.
It's
You have no
job.
idea, Bossy. It is
That's all
horrific.
I do is clean up after other fucking people in this department. I told you, it is unbelievable what people do.
Yeah. It's unbelievable. And that's why, I mean, I put it out at Christmas time, just before Christmas. I reposted it on my wall several times saying, puppies and kittens are not presents. They're not Christmas presents. If you're going to give a child a puppy or a kitten and then decide 6 months later that it's too much effort and you're just going to dump it somewhere, no. This is a commitment. This is us. You know, the reason why Nick is driving from Malta all the way to the UK is because of our dogs. We're not comfortable with the idea of putting those two dogs on an airplane. I won't do it. They're too big. They would be terrified. The stress would be so much on them that I'm not willing to do that. And neither is Nick. And Nick would rather take 3 days to drive from Malta all the way to the UK, where he can stop, let them out of the car, they can go for a walk, get back in the car, drive, stop, you know. It won't be stressful. They'll arrive in the UK and they'll be just as happy as when they left because they'll have been with their family
The whole way.
I'm not willing to do that to my animal. I'm just not willing to do that to my they're my family. My doggos are my family.
There you go, right there. But you just saying too. Plus that people who dump animals because, just like you said, they conveniently don't want them, or it's too much for them. It's too much like a child because it's a family member. And oh my gosh, people who get animals and they don't teach their children, their kids, how to hold them properly or shit. I'm like,
How to respect.
And the other problem is people don't research breeds, and they go and get a puppy and they don't know what they're doing.
Yep.
And then they're getting over their head, and I see this all the time.
Yeah, I made that mistake, Dawn. I made that mistake when Quinlan was a baby. Nick wanted a dog so badly, and a friend of mine had all sorts of friends who lived in Northern Ontario who were hunters, and they all have hunting dogs. And one of her friends' dog had just had puppies, and she'd said to me, "Do you still want a puppy?" I'm like, I so want a puppy. And we got this, and I didn't think to even ask. And the puppy was a Beagle Russell cross. And I had a brand new baby who was 5 months old. Nick worked 10 hours a day. I could not. He was such a high needs dog. He needed, and I felt horrifying. We only had him for about a year, and we didn't have the time to be able to give him. And I found a woman who had another Beagle Russell cross, and she was looking for a friend for her dog because her dog needed some company. And then literally interviewed her. She came, she brought her dog. We made sure the two dogs meshed, like they were okay together, etc. But that was for me. It was never again will I ever make that mistake of not doing my research, because I didn't know enough about those breeds of dogs. Now I know.
That's why you see so many big dogs in the shelters, so many big dogs on the streets. It's just people don't understand, or they coop these dogs up so much that they get out because they're not happy, and then they run off.
Yeah, I mean, I love big dogs. The bigger the dog, the more I love them. But you still have to be able to feed them, and that's another thing. People don't realize big dogs eat a lot. I'm cooking for my dogs every second day. I make a pot of food that's this big, like a soup tureen pot full of food, every second day, because they eat a lot of food. So it's all very nice and well to say, oh, I want to have a bull mastiff or I want to have a Great Dane because, oh, they look so cool. And then realize that you can't afford to feed them or walk them, or you don't have the time and energy to give them, etc. It's a big deal. Yeah, Fred, I love the Bernese Mountain Dogs too. They're gorgeous. Gorgeous. We have a situation here. We're getting way off topic, but our landlord that owns this house, the backyard is, oh look, my internet connection is unstable. Can you guys hear me? Hello? Fuck. And record on this computer. Right, take 2. I'm back again. Sorry, what were you guys talking about?
How you were here and then you were gone.
Yeah. Well, I was just saying, our family is mortified. Our landlord has a dog, and he keeps it locked in the backyard. And she's just a little mixed breed. She's got some Jack Russell, I'd say, in her, looking at her face. Pardon me.
Those are smart
Looking at her
dogs.
face. And she barks, but she's like a little wild dog. And over the last 6 months, well, like, he brought her into the backyard and we thought, okay, well, maybe she's in heat and he just wants to keep her away from the rest of the dogs. No, he just brought her into the backyard and dumped her. They feed her once a day and ignore her. This dog has no place to go when it rains. No one gives her any attention, nothing. So we've like our face. Nick gives her a doggy biscuit every single day, feeds her a doggy biscuit. And it's gotten to the point now that he can open the gate and like scritch her on her head, and she comes right to the gate, and he opened the gate, yes, a couple of days ago on the weekend, opened the gate, and then one of the boys distracted him, so he kind of turned away, and she came right up into our terrace and wanted to go right into the house. And like, my kids are brokenhearted, like literally, like, how can we, and they're literally sitting there going like, Dad, can we kidnap her and take her to England with us? So that, like, just because these mean people don't deserve to have her. She's such a sweet little dog. And I'm like, we can't do that, love. It's like highly illegal. It's called stealing, and you just can't. But like, that's commonplace here. And unfortunately, it's a really Mediterranean thing. Spain is the same. They have no respect for their animals, especially not dogs. Morocco was the same. Malta, like, they have no respect for animals. I don't know. I don't understand it. On the whole, again, I'm not saying everyone. I'm just saying there is an overwhelming majority, let's just put it that way, who just don't see it. They don't see it. Yeah, Turkey is another one. Yeah.
Yes, partially you're right. Partially, it changed. I noticed. I mean, I was as a kid often here in Spain, and there were in the 70s especially many dogs in the streets. Nobody. I don't remember ever going any neighbor with their dog anywhere. They didn't have pets as dogs. I don't remember. But it changed. And over the years, I see here a lot of people having animals and taking their animals from the shelters.
Not as much in the south, though. Like that's, Mercedes, that's the thing down in the south, and that's when you talk to Mikey. The south of Spain, there's no, like, and they, I don't know. Like I said, I'm generalizing. I am generalizing.
That's what I said. I think something has changed, especially here in the north.
Yeah, yeah.
But it could be that in the south it's still different.
Yeah. It's an overwhelming thing. I mean, when we were in Morocco, someone dropped a box of 8 puppies on our doorstep. They were about 4 weeks old, 5 weeks old. And we just, because I guess they figured we had a dog and we used to take her out for walks with us. Lucky went with us everywhere we went. I guess they just decided, and we know exactly where she came from. There was a farm with farm dogs across the road. And we were guaranteeing they just picked up all 8 puppies, put them in a box, and dumped them on our doorstep and said, "Here, take them."
I helped you with those babies.
Yeah, you did. You certainly did. And we found good homes for every one of those puppies before we left Morocco.
I was just, see, that's the kind of shit that drives me nuts when I go to let's say I'm going to pick up dogs out of the pound, you know, that are going to be put to sleep. And then I turn around on my way out and there's a box. And the puppies are in horrible shape, you know.
Yep. And kittens too. And, you know, I know. I mean, literally here in Malta, and we really are digressing. We'll get back to the topics at hand, but literally here in Malta, you look at, when you're driving down the road, you see a plastic bag or a box on the side of the road, you always look.
Yeah. Because
it's so common here for puppies and kittens to just be dumped in a plastic bag or a box at the side of the road somewhere. Like you swerve. If you see a plastic bag in the middle of the road, you always swerve around it, and Nick does, because you just never know what could be in the bag. And that's a sad state of affairs. Like when you literally start driving with that on your mind, like I can't hit that bag on the road because it could have a kitten in it. That's a sad statement of a society.
See, I wouldn't do well. I wouldn't do well in these countries. I'd be under great stress.
You would not do well, honey. Mm-mm.
No, everybody tells me not to do it.
Well, so yeah, guys, so moving on from dogs and pets. I always love talking about our dogs. You know, I can talk for hours about my doggos. I want to talk about something else. Has anyone else seen, let's see if I've got the link up still, that Somerset Belanoff fucking bullshit? Glamiscalling, pardon me. It's gone viral. Everyone's talking about it in a matter of, someone posted it in the Unfuckers group. Lori, I think it was you. Maybe at the beginning of the week or like on the weekend. And then from there, I don't know how many times I've been sent the links. I have no idea how many times I've been sent the links now. I've lost count. So I went through, and the first one is called, it's called Who is Somerset Belanoff.com. I went through, read every single page, every single inch, read the entire website, front, back, and sideways. And then I went and looked at that Glamiscalling to the far corners of the world, purportedly, blah, 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 blah. And all the shit that seems to be going on. I'm telling you. All the shit that seems to be going on. And now one of the things that someone pulled up was, I'm just trying to scroll through our notes. Oh, come on, here we are. Where is it? The website that gives you the history of a website. Oh, I can't remember what they call that. Oh, sorry, guys. I'm trying to scroll through all the notes here of everything was talking about this. Oh, come on. Where is it? Oh, there's the website that keeps the history of all the websites. I'm sorry, guys.
The Wayback Machine.
The Wayback Machine. Thank you. The Wayback Machine lists that site as of January 2020, number one. So you go through and you read all this information, all this purported shit about all these people. And this whole Somerset Belanoff, whatever her name is, there is no information on her. And it's all very convenient to say, oh, well, you know, she's the secret of the secret, the dark of the dark, the head of the head, the whole bit. But as I said to a friend of mine, when I went through and looked through the whole thing, first of all, that Glamiscalling is the most hokey, low budget, crappy website I've seen in a long time. Low budget graphics. It really is. It's just, I don't know, it's the National Sun of fucking news sites, if you want to call it that. You're talking about a worldwide organization who heads up everyone and tells everyone what to do, and they can't even afford to have a decent website? One that isn't built on a simple WordPress blog roll? Number one. Number two, myself and all the other unfuckers. A lot of you guys, we've been together since at least 2014, 2015. And we've jumped down a fuck of a lot of rabbit holes. A fuck of a lot of rabbit holes in the last 6 years. Has anyone else heard of this?
Yes, Danny. But on the other side, even, how was he called? McKinney could hack the sites of the US government. So I mean, what I want to say with it, the quality of a website doesn't tell about who owns it.
Yeah, it does. I'm sorry, I'm going to disagree, Marseille. That website is built on a single page theme, WordPress theme, with no bells and whistles, with no custom work whatsoever. It is literally a blog roll. That's it. And this is supposed to be the website of the most powerful organization. I'm sorry, I don't buy it. Now, as I was saying, we've been together doing these rabbit holes, and we've been through some fucking way out there rabbit holes. If there's one thing that I have an intense amount of pride on, if you want to call it that, with our unfuckers, is that we have visited rabbit holes that a lot of other people have not even touched, because we're not afraid to go deep diving and track something down, go, hey, this doesn't add up. Whoa, 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 whoa. Have you guys heard about this? You heard about this? Okay, let's go. Let's go check it out and pull out reams of information. I have two buddies of mine, really good buddies of mine, who are, when I have a research project that needs to be done, where I need dirt on someone, I hand it to them, because they're bulldogs and they know how to use Google and they know how to find the fucking shit. Neither one of them have ever heard of this. No one I know of has ever heard of this organization, this woman, the way this is all supposed to be. No one. Now, this just pops into play January 2020, when it just so happens that everyone is going fucking insane at the moment. We've got the America-Iran fucking shit playing out over here. We have financial shit, the likes of which, and maybe we'll get into that a little later on, the financial shit that's going on out of the Fed right now is insane and illegal, blatantly illegal. Blatantly illegal. There's nothing they're doing that is illegal. And I mean, it's illegal by even their own rules. And we have the American election coming up. We have Brexit coming up. We have half the world in revolution, with massive, massive protests happening all over the world. France is now in week 60, 62. They're well into their second chapter. They've been going out this protest every fucking week for now over a year. Okay? The world is losing its shit. And all of a sudden, you have this website pop up making all these fantastical claims that no one has ever heard of before, not once, not even so much as a whisper from the deep, dark alleys. Boom. This comes into play. Now, there's a video that went along with this. I have not watched the video yet. I haven't had the time. and I'll get to that. But now it's being portrayed that, or being claimed that this Somerset Belanoff, whatever, the World Council of whatever uppity up, is the ones who gave QAnon the orders to start posting. Isn't that convenient? You guys know, look, I don't like QAnon, not even slightly. But if I was all the people who were following the QAnon stuff, I'd be going, who, what now? What? It smacks of complete distraction. This is another big red shiny apple. How many people wasted hours in the last couple of days watching videos on this, reading information about this, going through that blog roll, month by month, going back, trying to fish out maybe a little hints. Ooh, how much time did you waste on it? And while that was going on, what else was going on that we're keeping you away from? I'm sorry. I don't believe this for a second, not even 1% of this. It is a massive fucking distraction. And just so conveniently playing out. Beginning of a new year, we need something to take some of the heat off of a lot of other shit that's going on. And when you have all the shit that's going on right now, the kind of stuff that normally the so-called truther community would jump headfirst and be watching and commenting on, it just so happens to drop one of these bombs out there to distract everyone. So maybe they're not watching some of the shit as closely as they would because they've been distracted with this. Oh, you know, like maybe the fact that the entire Russian government just resigned today. Now, I've got a friend of mine who's in Moscow, and I just sent him a message a few hours ago going, can you sit down and clarify for me exactly what the fuck's going on in Russia? Because I'm a little confused. So when I hear back from him, I'll let everyone know. This is major fucking shit. Like, this is, you know, like I said, even this little island nation of Malta got a new fucking prime minister sworn in yesterday. Because the former prime minister who was forced to step down is actually, you know, could very well be, could be, maybe, sort of, kind of, could be an accomplice to the murder of a journalist who was reporting about all his corruption, along with, I don't know, 3 other government ministers in Malta who have all been named in this case. There's serious fucking shit going down everywhere. Yeah, Clive, exactly. You just can't make this shit up. Seriously, you can't make this. This is like a soap opera at the moment, what's going on here in Malta. There is a lot of shit going on. And a lot of it is based on distraction. How much of the distraction is deliberate? Like I said, this whole shit with the US and Iran, isn't the timing just so convenient? Isn't it just convenient that all this shit is blowing up, quite literally, pardon the pun, blowing up with Iran at the same time that Donald Trump is being impeached, at the same time as the Fed is printed $6 trillion out of nothing to give to the big banks to bail them out, when they actually did a whole unbelievable, highly illegal, even by their own rules, highly illegal maneuver of buying and selling their own bonds to the tune of trillions in the past few weeks. And people are wondering what the distraction's from. Like, shit's crazy right now. Shit is seriously fucking. Russian government fucking all entirely resigns? What the fuck? What the fuck is going on? Right?
Do you know more about it?
Oh, I'm waiting to hear back. I'm waiting to hear back from a buddy of mine in Moscow, because I'm like, okay, the little bit that's coming out in the mainstream media this afternoon was about that big. And I was like, okay. I don't know. Clive, did Putin tell them to resign? I don't know. Until I hear it from my buddy in Moscow,
But
I want to hear it.
Can I?
Yes,
I say
Igor,
something?
you're here. Tell us. Have you been
Yes,
looking
I'm
into
on,
this?
but I haven't had a chance to actually go through the mainstream media news, and I'm in Cape Town, as you know, and I've been
I know.
outside for the last for a year and a half now. But there was a lot of talk about the collapse and this disintegration of Russia before the new year, because basically the Russian government ordered commissioned a research at the Academy of Sciences of the Russian Federation. They chose the Siberian branch of the Academy of Sciences,
Uh-huh.
the State Academy. They commissioned a research on dissolution of Russia as a country, collapse of Russia into at least 7 different countries. So it's a state-commissioned research. They published it, they leaked it. It was widely publicized.
Oh,
And
really?
essentially, yes. So the way I see it, since it was again commission, that's not the only reason why the government resigned, obviously, but I think it's like maybe give an indication what's actually going on. Basically, the Russian government, a huge chunk of it, maybe the majority of the so-called ruling class, yeah.
Sorry, say that again. A huge part of the government what?
Is basically motivated to collapse Russia because they don't want any responsibility for what they've been doing for years. They don't want criminal prosecution. So if they collapse the country, there will be no state authorities to persecute them and bring them to justice. Yeah, this is my take, and this is a present prominent perception of the situation.
Okay.
So maybe it's something to do with that.
Yeah, no, like this is, like I said, I haven't had time. I've been ridiculously busy today, so I did not get a time. And like I said, I got my buddy who lives in Moscow, and I'm waiting to hear back from him because I want him to tell me, like, what's the word on the street? Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to know what's being said on the street.
Yeah. So that's as much as I can say at that stage.
Yeah. No, thank you, Igor. I really appreciate you jumping in with this. Really, really appreciate it.
Good to say something eventually.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ed wrote something about it in the chat. She wrote, Putin is pushing for a referendum to modify the constitution to give more powers to the parliament instead of to the president. And I read something about this too, and I find it interesting.
Yeah, like I said, I want to hear the shit on the streets. Do you know what I'm saying? What we hear in the mainstream media, things that are released through the mainstream media, we know what it's like. It all gets glossed over when it. So I want to find out kind of like what is being talked about on the streets, as even in the lead up to this kind of stuff that like Igor just brought up. When you have different things, little pieces here that are playing into this. That's when it's just like with anything else. We got to put the puzzle pieces together and go, okay, whoa, wait a second. Is it this the media is saying, or is there a whole pile of this over here on the other side that's actually powering this?
Danny, can I also say something?
Yeah, Igor.
We also have. I've been saying this for like 3 years now. Persistently, yeah. But we also have to remember that there is no Putin. And this is a major factor. And also, in addition to the fact that it's basically a lot of doubles, a team of doubles who perform so-called Putin. The real Putin, for what I know, he's not even present possibly in this life at all. Maybe he's not alive anymore. The thing is, the awareness of this fact, it's so high now. People do know. People do know. The internet is full of millions of entries, search results, that there is no Putin. It's doubles worth. So who is actually kicking the government out? I mean,
You mean Putin could be like another Hillary Clinton with like all of her doubles? Because God knows we know it ain't all Hillary. I ain't fucking Hillary.
It's just a prompt. I mean, it's an interface. It's a team of actors, whether they are doubles or even clones, who knows. But the fact of life is there is no Putin. It's an interface. It's an artificial interface.
Yeah. The world's insane. Basically, it comes down to this one simple statement: the entire world completely fucking insane. That's pretty much the only conclusion you can kind of come to at this point in time. The world's fucking crazy.
It's been insane for a long time. Yeah, sorry to jump in here, but when you said that, it's been insane for ages, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I hear you, darling. I think I'm running out of cigarette papers.
But hey,
no.
maybe it's going on for ages, but most certainly we are living in the end stadium of this disease, probably. Also, why the fuck did Q didn't predict the Russian thing? I think Q isn't that great, huh?
Don't even get me started, dude. Seriously. Don't even get me started. Yeah, I'm going to have to go run over somewhere and steal cigarette papers off someone. Flag down Nick or something. I must have another. I always have a stash of cigarette papers around here somewhere, but I may have rolled my last of my stash.
Hey, Dan.
Yeah. So, yeah, darling.
Yeah, just a quick one. I just happened to notice Gypsy posted in the UU a link to that video you were talking about earlier of Max Egan, and I just wanted to point it out that it's there for anybody that is in here that wants to easily access it. It should be at the top of the page, but right now anyway.
I will have to take a look. In the top in here in our chat here.
No. In the UU.
Oh, in the UU group. Okay, sorry. Just had to clarify that. I didn't know if you meant the chat. I'm like, but I don't see a name.
No. She's not in the room tonight. It doesn't look like.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean, we got a lot of shit going on. We had 3 major volcanoes blow this week. Not a little insignificant fucking eruptions either. Like, we're talking pretty fucking major ones. There was a fucking earthquake in New York this week, wasn't there? Like someone said, it was like a 3.5 or a 3.7 or something, but like an earthquake in New York. Like, what the hell?
3.3. That's what I remember reading. 3.3.
3.3. There we go. Thank you, Star. Yeah, and we're talking shit is fucking crazy. So going back to this whole Somerset, Bellenoff, Glamis, whatever, I don't believe a fucking word of it. I don't believe a fucking word of it. And I find it very, very conveniently timed. That's dumped out and send everyone scurrying off doing a massive amount of research on something that, will keep them distracted from other shit going on. I'm laughing. You guys are just going off. The whole chat's going off. You guys out there on Twitch on the live stream, like I said, if you have any comments or questions, throw them into the chat there on Twitch, and someone will bring them over here to us to read. I can't even catch up with you guys in the chat. Like, wow.
I'm someone.
Okay, someone. Hi, Fran. Hi, someone. Yes, Fred.
I'm someone. Sorry, had to. Come on, guys, in Twitch while Danny's reading her chat and catching up on the things. Come on, Twitch, wake up. We're kind of sleepy today.
I don't blame them. I'm feeling really sleepy today too. Like, that's one of those things. Like, I've had a day all day today where it's been really. Besides the fucking matrix mental glitching today. What the fuck? Just weird day. Weird day. And weird fucking dreams again. like really, really weird fucking dreams again. And I know a few people. Hold on. Tarana, you need to mute yourself, love. There we go. Yeah, really, really weird dreams. And waking up feeling very much like coming off to the side, and you wake up and go, what the fuck was that all about? What the fuck was that all about? If you can even remember it, that is. If you can actually even remember the dream later on. Yeah, and my kids have had really strange dreams this week too. Like nothing huge, but at least almost every day this week, at least one of my kids has turned around and been like, I had strange fucking dreams last night. Yeah, Maury?
Yeah, on that one, I don't normally talk about this to anybody because nobody, what the hell. But yeah, I've noticed it too in the last week in particular. Nothing horrendous or anything like that, or super informative. But I've had different kinds of dreams than I'm used to. It just, It's not that they're bad. It's just different. And I notice it. And I've noticed it. I woke up this morning. I said, I don't remember what I just dreamed, but I know that wasn't the normal.
Wasn't normal. And like you say, it's not like you had a bad dream. It's not like you had a type dream. It's just not normal. I was saying to Nick, I had one this morning just before I woke up. And it's one of the few dreams that I can actually clearly remember a segment of. And I think it was just because I got woken up by the dogs. Because, nothing wakes you up quite so fast as a big, wet dog nose getting you right here on the side of the neck. Number one alarm clock. Also, number one thing to give you a heart attack if you're in the middle of a dream. Big, wet dog nose. No, in the dream, I was with Nick. We're talking to someone, a guy. And I'm talking to this guy. And in the dream, I know this guy really well, but I have no idea who it was. As in, I can't identify who this person was. And he's doing something. At the beginning of the dream, all I can remember is the fact that he's working on something with his hands, doing something. And I made a joking comment of the fact, it was like, oh, well, if you need help. And I was like, I can set up a 7-foot Christmas tree with all the lights and all the decorations in like 3 hours, no problem. So if you need a hand, just let me know. And Nick jokingly says, yeah, no, she's not lying. She actually can. And the guy, we're kind of laughing, bantering back and forth. And then I start noticing what the guy's doing. And I realized that the analogy of the Christmas tree comes from the shape of what he's building, because it's kind of shaped in that Christmas tree orientation, if you will. Do you guys know what, oh my fucking God, Tiffany lamps. Do you guys know what Tiffany lamps look like? Which are like the stained glass, and sometimes they're kind of a octagon shape, etc. This was a shape he was building, and it was made of, the only thing I can describe it is like a Tiffany type lamp, and they were squares, and the squares were about that big, and each side was a different colored glass, and or let's just say it was a different color, and they were very bright, very vibrant colors. They're not the muted, typical kind of earthy kind of colors of Tiffany lamps. And when I looked at it, it was, each box was set almost like in a spiral going down in that kind of almost a Christmas tree type shape. And I'm looking at it going, wow, that's really, really cool. That's really gorgeous. That's like, wow. And then I realized he's working on a piece that's like what would be about the middle of the Christmas tree, if you will. And it's a completely different thing. And there is a round segment that's about this big around, kind of dome shaped. Again, all this, what I'm perceiving as colored stained glass. And then just up above it, there's another box in the glass, but it's much smaller. It's only about this big. And then the continuation of the larger glass squares all the way down and around it. And I looked at that, and then as the conversation, the bantering back and forth between the characters and the dream, so to speak, I turn and walk away. And as I turn and walk away, my brain is literally yelling at me, that's not a Christmas tree. That's not a Christmas tree. That's a, and I'm trying to, and I turn, it's almost like slow motion. You turn to look back at it again to try and get your brain to recognize what it is you're actually seeing. And at that moment, literally, a dog stuck his big wet nose right into my neck and woke me up, and boom. So I have no clue, but I can remember, like, my brain was literally telling me whatever it is you're seeing is not what you're seeing. Like, as in your brain is trying to interpret it, i.e. turning it into stained glass lights, because that's what my brain would accept as like a physical analogy to it. But that wasn't it. And at the very end, like I said, my brain was literally trying to tell me, that's not what you're seeing. That's not what you're seeing. And I tried to turn and look back at it again to really kind of look and go, what is that? When I woke up. And that's the kind of thing, like Maury said, they're not major, not scary, but just really, really different. Not your normal type of dreams. Trying to catch up with the chat again. You guys are like, off we go, off we go. Yes, mind fog. Yes, I have a severe case of mind fog. Even right now, this very second, I'm literally got mind fog going on. I can't remember what we were just talking about almost. Yeah, Marseille, Weston-super-Mare is just south of Bristol. Like, hop, skip, and a jump away. Yeah, I don't know. Human resonance been really strange. Is that it? Like, do we get, when we're dealing with these frequencies, is that what triggers some of these bizarre kinds of dreams that we have? I don't know. I honestly don't know, folks. It's just been really, really strange. And we did, yeah, love.
I wrote this because Fred posted a question from someone in Twitch. Where you were at in the UK when you fly there.
Oh, we will be in Weston-super-Mare, which is just south of Bristol in the UK. And we're having an Unfuckers meetup. For anyone who wants to join us in Weston-super-Mare at a pub, an inn, something, a restaurant, on Sunday, on the 19th. So if anyone is interested in joining us on Sunday for lunch and come and meet up, you can email me. The best way to do it would be Dani, D-A-N-I, at GaiasGarden.com, GAEASGARDEN.com, for instructions, because obviously I'm not going to give out the instructions publicly here because, we don't want Tom, Dick, and Harry showing up. So yes, that's where I will be. Now hold on, because now I'm trying to scroll up and figure out what I just missed here. Amy Robb from Twitch. There's a lot of unfuckers in the UK. If you're in the UK, there's a lot of unfuckers in the UK. You gotta kind of hook up with some of the groups that we have going on, the Facebook group or the Zoom group, etc., and get to know your local unfuckers in your neighborhood. We're everywhere. So yeah, I don't know, because I'm actually brain dead. What were we talking about? That was it. I'm offside now. I have totally no clue what we were just talking. Besides dreams, that is. See, just right there. That's just the way it is. Well, Mercedes, the problem is like, it's like we've got members in Spain, we have members in Germany, in Austria, in Romania, in France, in Portugal, in Italy, but very few, because of course we're an English-speaking show. So it's only people who are comfortable listening to English who are going to tune in, unfortunately. I'm sure there's a lot more out there. Tee-hee-hee. Behind every blade of grass could be an unfucker. We are everywhere. That's right. We are everywhere. Tee-hee-hee-hee. Well, since we've gotten completely off topic now, because I'm literally sorry, guys, like I'm having just as bad a glitch out night as anyone else is. I'm having a very hard time holding my topics of conversation together. Update. So yeah, I will be in the UK this weekend. And those of you who don't know, we are moving to the UK. We will be in, hopefully, end of February, beginning of March, we will be in the UK. We have found, if you saw the website that I put out looking for a place to live, we found a place to live through a fellow unfucker. So we will be in the West Midlands. I think that's about where that area is, in the West Midlands, just kind of northwest of Birmingham. So yeah, I'll have an opportunity to get to know in person more of the unfuckers in England. It'll be awesome. Yeah, Maury?
Yeah, when you go to England this weekend, are you going to be able to visit that place and see it?
No. They've got, because there'll be people will be living in the place. They don't leave until February, the 1st of February, so you can't go by it. I have looked it up on Google Street View, though. That's the one good part about Google Street View is you can go up and zoom right in. Oh, look, there's the house. There's the backyard. There's what it looks like. And then you can zoom out and go, hey, look, there's the local shops. Oh, there's a little pub next door. Oh, look, up the street is over here. That's the one good thing I love about Google, is being able to go type in nearest grocery store. Oh, look, there's a grocery store there. There's one there. There's one there. Oh, the nearest post office is just around the corner. You know, the important things. Like, where's the local pub? You know, the important things.
Right.
Yeah, so that's where we will be to start off. That will give us a couple of months to get our feet on the ground, get ourselves kind of organized and figure out where we want to be. And when we look for a more permanent, so to speak, place. Yes.
No, I'm not a big drinker, but a good pub, having a pub, get you an ice cold beer, just one,
It's Britain, darling. They drink their beer warm.
Oh, they do? Oh, that would not work for me. I like cold.
Yeah.
Cold.
Yeah. Oh, shit. Okay, Bollinger just said in Twitch, Spain's Alicante airport is on fire and being evacuated. All flights suspended. I'm assuming that's just happened. And did they say why it's on fire?
Interesting. There was an explosion in a chemical factory not far from Tarragona.
Is that close
Yesterday.
to the Alicante? Is it the Alicante? Because I don't know where the Alicante airport is. I should know it, but I can't remember which one that is. What city is that in?
Alicante is more to the south. Alicante is in Valencia, and Tarragona.
That's what I thought. Okay.
More to the north, and it's basically it is a province of Catalonia, and Valencia is another province.
Okay. Well, there we go. Yeah, more exploding things. We had a big conversation on Sunday night. Hold on, scrolling through our list. Yes, you are here. Before we watched the movie Sunday night, on Sunday, there was a big, huge drama about Pickering nuclear power plant in Ontario. In Whitby, in Scarborough, Ontario, just outside of Toronto, that an emergency notice went up, which goes across everyone. Like when these emergency nuclear power plant notices go out, they go out to everyone's phone, etc. At 7:30 in the morning, And there was all kinds of stuff that went on there. And Nancy, one of the unfuckers who used to work for Pickering Power Plant, gave us a little bit of a rundown about like what some of these things mean. You know what I mean? Because you get told a sentence from the mainstream media or these kinds of things, and how do you interpret it? And she was able to kind of sit down and explain to us what is actually kind of being done in the background and how it happens, et cetera, et cetera. And this is the whole thing, like these what could be electrical explosions that we're seeing, again, are seemingly to be ramping up like crazy. Yeah, Deb, don't be fooled by the article saying the alert was made in error. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I'm going to say about that. Yeah, like just crazy, crazy stuff.
And today here was heavy chemtrails or geoengineering jets.
Yeah, I didn't really go outside today. I can't tell you if we had chemtrails or not. I honestly don't think I stuck my head outside the door today other than take laundry off the roof. No, I didn't even do that because I had made my daughter go take the laundry down. So no, I have not stuck my head outside the door even once today. So yeah, it's all fucking crazy. This is what I'm saying. Like, just shit is just crazy. And some of the stuff that we're seeing that's crazy is this extremist responses from people, and not just extremist, people lashing out in the media, and in social media, I should say. But crazy things that are happening. Someone was just mentioning California. There was a plane that was making an emergency landing, dumped their fuel to make themselves lighter for the landing across the playground of a schoolyard. And there was like 60 kids who had to be taken in and checked out for breathing problems and skin irritation, etc. Like, just dumped its avgas just right over top of a populated area. 5 schools were affected. There you go. Jorf just said 5 schools were affected. The kids were all out on like their recess time. This kind of, and you're just like, what the fuck? People acting extremists. It's the only word I can use, and it's even people respond to information in a very extreme, radical way. When we have news stories come out, when you have other information come out, it's people. It's just they seem to be so tied into their narratives and just teetering on an edge. Do you know what I mean? So that like when any little thing comes up, it's like, boom. Seen it in so many people on social media right now. It's crazy. Crazy. Balls to the walls reaction. Deb, yeah, no, that's kind of a good description of it, I'll tell you. That's kind of a good description of it. Johnny, sure signs of early onset idiocracy. I have to agree with that. Although I don't know that this is early onset. I think we're pretty much right smack dab in the middle of it at this point.
Nah, this is almost end stadium, like lethal, and you're just...
Fucking craziness.
Yeah, I was just thinking real quick, when you said balls to the walls, it made me think of that accept hard rocking thing from the 80s, and thinking when Bassey said that thing, what you just said about the shit is the other thing that he just mentioned, balls to the walls, and something that he just mentioned. It was my short-term memory. I hate it.
End stadium, like the final stages of that disease.
Yeah, this is like stage 5 at least. I don't know, fucking crazy.
Oh, well, you said
all I can say is like, people, it's really important. Just everyone's really, really got to support each other. Like, really focus on trying to help each other out. and trying to remain calm. It's very, very easy right now. As I said on last week's show, I was teetering on the edge myself. I was so angry at everything, at society, at everything going on. We've got to find something else. Like, one of the things, being able to turn and walk away from social media when you're finding yourself getting that agitated, that angry, frustrated, or fucking that rage that you get when people just trigger you, and you've got to walk away from it. You just take a time, find something, whatever it is that interests you in the moment, and go do it. Walk away
Pick
from
up
it.
a new hobby.
Right now, for me, I don't. Oh, hey guys, sorry, I missed the beginning. Yeah. So I don't like, people have been sort of agitating me and like the right stuff about me, but I'm not agitated. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. I'm the opposite of who I used to be. Like, I'm a different me. I think I'm a me from another reality. Don't know it, but yeah, it's weird.
Well, go ahead, Maury. You wanted to say something.
I did on this subject too. You got to remember, and we know this. Sometimes we forget it, but we do know it. It's all we talk about: the program, the game, other ways of expressing that whole overlay business. The whole thing of that is to entrap us into their game, which is what we're seeing play out in all this craziness and what you're talking about, what the others are talking about in here. You know, when you address that subject, the wise choice, and I will offer it in that term, is to, yes, we can't help but see it, but we can help in not getting drawn into it.
Yep.
And that takes how do you do that? Well, you stay focused on yourself and trust that you can actually you have to trust that you can actually walk amongst it and not get much of it on you, if any at all, if you're really good at it.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a freaking trap. All of these things are, and yeah, they're happening in versions. Now, what the reality, just like the Russian government, we don't know what exactly the deal is yet from where we're sitting. Something's going on, but just like you intimated, the monetary system, you know, we've been hearing about that collapse for the last 2 years, and it's every day something else is happening to increase the worry, the what ifs, and all of that kind of stuff going on. Yes, it's there, but you've got to take time in your daily life to focus on the good things, because they're there just as well. You've got your pets. I've got one myself, and that's good. That's there. When you eat a dinner, for crying out loud, don't just gobble it down. Enjoy it. Notice the good things. They're there just as much as the bad things. And where you put your attention, you know this one too. Where your attention goes, I forget how the rest of it goes, but something flows.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And that's exactly it. And we all, in the moment, when you're faced with some of this stuff, and like I said, so for me, like, you know me, because I don't look at the political stuff too much anymore, because it's too easy for me to fall back into that bottomless rabbit hole of bullshit. But when we get caught up in this stuff, and when you're seeing this stuff, it is, like I said, we need, I hate to use the word pay attention, so I won't. I'll say we need to observe what's going on and be aware of the shit playing out. Stuff like the financial crap that's going on right now. Seriously major. Political stuff. Things that are going on around us geophysically, whether it's earthquakes, etc., etc. But in our life, we've got other things that are within our circle, that are within our home. And that's where I've literally just been like, just take your attention off. I will not, personally, since last Wednesday, the show, I have not been on my wall in my newsfeed in on Facebook. I have not scrolled very much through PocketNet because I don't want to get caught into those little, I don't want to be triggered. So you know what? I'm doing other stuff. No, I'm busy at the moment, so I'm getting ready, planning a move. I'm planning a trip. I got all this fucking shit that I'm doing. But we all have something else that we can do. And I hate to say it, even if it's as fucking boring as folding the laundry, or go do the dusting, or go dig in your garden, go shovel your driveway, go do something physical. Take up a new hobby. Take up a new hobby, something that's ridiculous. I don't know, go buy yourself a paint by numbers and start doing paint by number, something. Something that when you have that moment, you can turn and walk, you can physically remove yourself from in front of the screen, because let's face it, I think for most of us in here and on the live stream, if you were to think about it, you'd say that probably 90% of the stress and anxiety, any kind of emotional reaction you are getting, is to what is right here on this screen in front of you. So walk away from it. Or if you're going to be on the computer because you got nothing else to do, go play Mahjong. Go play solitaire. Literally, just take the social media, fucking close the window, and don't go there. And it is an addiction. I know. I have caught myself time and time again sitting in front of one of the social media things, just scrolling, sometimes for hours. And then you realize what you're doing, and you realize that there's so much more you could do. And you have to force yourself to be like, what the hell? Okay, fuck this. Walk away. So this is the time.
Can I add something?
Yeah, of course, Fred.
Because I was looking up absolutely everything you said about social media. Just adding that, somebody said in the chat, Natalia, true, but my friends are all on the computer. Yes, valid for me as well, because most of my friends are abroad, and
all of them.
Then, try to make your Facebook, if that's your prime social media thing. Don't forget that you can actually mute the people without unfriending them, but you can mute the people so you won't see their feeds anymore. So if you have friends that are, going nuts with all kinds of things that make you angry when you scroll, mute those people so you don't see their posts. And just when you go to Facebook, go with the people, go interact with the people and the few groups you actually enjoy and feel good in, and just stay there. I'm not making a plug right now, it's real. My Facebook starting page is pinned to open on UnFuckers page, not on my profile. That's where it goes. Yeah, it's pinned. It opens, it goes straight into UnFuckers because I want it to, because there I feel good. Yes, I get angry sometimes because we don't all agree. That's normal. But it's between us, at least. It's not the craziness of out there. And if you want to go check your wall, which is, general chat, then just mute. I muted so many pages or old groups that people that people pulled me into without, back then when you could actually pull people without them knowing. Now they can't. Now you get the notification.
Yeah,
you have
thank
to actually
God.
accept. Yeah, thank platypus. But back then, and I got pulled into a gazillion groups with that post all kind of graphic, horrible stuff that I don't want to see, that I won't even mention. So just, mute all that, get out of those, mute them, and you can actually more or less make your personal social media an okay place for you. Just make it as comfy as possible. You can always unmute these people later when they get better. It's no problem. They'll still be your friends.
When they get over it.
When they get over it.
And they won't know that you've muted them. Exactly.
They won't know. You just won't see the post. It's fine. It's okay. You don't have to go on an unfriending spree. which I see a lot of these days, that's it. I'm going to unfriend half the people. Yeah, you may regret that later. Just think it over twice. Some people.
No, I've been doing Fred exactly what you. I've just been like unfollow them. You're still friends with them, but you unfollow them, and I'll be like. And there's a couple of people that I was following for a while on Facebook because they would talk about geomagnetic stuff. So I wanted to see their posts. Like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they were also rabid born-again Christians. And I literally just got to a point in the last 2 weeks of like, I can't do this anymore. And I just was like, I just have to. And I unfollowed them all. I unfollowed every one of them, and it was like, you know what?
Hey, Danny.
I don't need that for that information.
Darling, there are just so many apocalypses one can hack. And
I can only take 2 apocalypses a year.
Yeah, exactly. There's just one apocalypse too much someday. Go down.
Hey, Danny, did you see that they took Dutch's channel down again?
Oh, no, again?
Dutch Sense is
again
gone. They took it all.
Yeah.
And of course, the guy from Suspicious Observers is so happy because he's such a fucking douchebag. I cannot stand that guy.
Listen, I do occasionally listen to his stuff because he has some good stuff. And he brings attention, like he brings in the studies. So his daily thing, I like because the only reason I find half of these studies is because he brings them up and he mentions them, which is like, oh, fuck, that's a good study. I need to read that. But yeah, his attitude fucking sucks.
And that's what I don't like. I'm not, it's just he thinks he's better than everybody else. And Dutch has got such great heart.
Mm-hmm.
Dutch Sense is on Twitch, from what I know.
Is he on Twitch? Awesome. Okay.
That's what I heard.
All of you guys out there on Twitch, you need to go find Dutch Sense and follow him if he's on Twitch. Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Mickey. It's not a sweater. It's actually a shawl. Our very own Andrea from Unfuckers knit this for me, and I love it. It's one of my favorite things. It's just really cold right now, so I've got the extra sweater on, the extra knitty stuff on. Yeah, things are crazy. So just like look after yourselves, people. Look after yourself and just walk away from it. Focus on what's really important in your life. I don't know, your kids, your pets. Like I said, literally, it's one of those times where you start doing things like deciding it's time to iron everything in your closet, just because that way you're not gonna fucking look at what's going on around you and you can just mindlessly watch a movie. Sit down and start watching old movies again if you have to. There you go. So there it is. John just put it in the link there. So twitch.tv/DutchSenseOfficial. Awesome. I will actually go follow him. Good stuff. I will go follow him. Awesome. Yeah, look after yourselves. Go, I don't know, learn to cook something. Make something extra special for dinner, whatever. Learn a new recipe.
I made some THC brownies, girl.
Okay, then you have Dawn.
Keep a couple for a couple.
She's gonna make some really special brownies.
No, she just left the room.
She's going to go pull them out of the fridge. I can see her. She's pulling them out of the fridge.
When she gets back, I want to tell her something. Hey, Dawn.
Look.
Dawn, I want your attention for a moment.
Yes, sir.
Save a couple when I get there, would you?
I'm gonna make
one of them in fucking 50 years.
Really,
nice.
Y'all, this is pure Gorilla Glue cannabis butter.
Nice.
That's it, y'all.
You guys living the dream. God damn it. Why isn't it legal over here?
And Bossy's like, why am I not over there? Wrong side of the pond.
Yeah, exactly.
Wrong side of the pond, dude.
And
Gorf is drooling. Gorf is just like, oh.
No, I mean, just imagine the irony over here in Germany. We live next to the Netherlands, right? They've proven it for how many decades that the country doesn't turn into anarchy and like Mad Max or whatever, right? And over here, we Germans, we sit here like, no, we don't like this. We're going to prosecute everyone who gets a herb over the border and smokes it to be happy, because this is like, I don't know, cartel and organized crime. And in reality, you have someone sitting somewhere smoking a doobie, and, the worst thing that can happen, he gets a fucking munchie flash,
Exactly.
I got a true story I'd like to share with you guys on that subject of brownies. Back when my daughter went to college, the first 2 years it was local, but the last 2 years she went off to Charlotte, North Carolina. I was in Brevard, which is about maybe 125 miles away. And she was dorming there. Now, this is before we had cell phones, but we did have computer. And of course, I raised her kind of sort of different than most kids coming up. I had a special, way about myself. But anyway, I had mentioned to her along the line about something that I referred to as Alice B. Toklas cookies. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that one. It comes out of a movie, I Love You, Alice B. Toklas, or a song or something. But basically, they were the brownies like Dawn is talking about. So she sent me, she called me up on the telephone, because, again, we didn't have cell phones back then, so texting wasn't available. She says, can you get me the recipe for that? Now, here she is 125 miles away in a freaking college dorm. So I didn't know what the freaking recipe was, so I looked it up online, and I called her back up, and I gave her the damn directions. I never did get one, but that happened. That must have been like 1999. True story.
Oh, yeah. Some of my fondest memories of going to Holland, I used to try. I had good friends in Amsterdam, so every time we flew between Toronto and Gozo, this would have been, like I said, in the 90s and 80s and 90s, we'd always go through Holland, and we'd always stay in Amsterdam for at least a couple of days. And it was the most chilled out city. It was just, you just walked everywhere, and just everyone, you go to the coffee shop, get yourself a little spliff, a little one, fucking cone like that, and just chilled. And it was like, fucking loved it.
I've been saying this forever. If everybody smoked weed on this planet, nobody would go to war.
No, they'd be too hungry to go to war.
Or do stupid things, right? Like that Joe Rogan comedy bit, like when he's going off about Mount Everest, right? Like nobody that smoked a joint gets the idea to climb Mount Everest, right?
Well, you might have the idea. Doesn't mean you're going to follow through on the idea.
Yeah, it makes you more childlike.
Oddball anyways. To me, Joe Rogan's an oddball anyways.
I give him credit for putting it out there like he does.
I know there's a lot of people who don't like Joe Rogan. I don't give a shit what anyone says. I don't watch all his shows for sure, because God knows I don't have that many hours in the fucking day. But I'll tell you.
Yeah, he don't give a shit.
He puts out shit, and you may not agree with his views, and you may not, but you know what? He brings people on who are real fucking interesting. And he gives them a platform to say shit that they don't have a place to be able to say this. And he has a massive audience. So, like, one of the things I've talked about, and Nick and I talk about this all the time, and you want to talk about disclosure. Like, everyone has this whole thing, and it has been since, like, 2009, 2010. Oh, government disclosure about the aliens, blah, blah, blah. You're never going to get that president standing up in front of the podium saying, and we have our friends, the aliens, coming for us. No, it's never going to happen. The disclosure you're seeing is through shit like Joe Rogan, who does a show that is seen by tens of millions of people. And he has guys like Bob Lazar on. And Commander, I'm going to fucking, not Fraser, it's not Fraser. Fucking Flavor. It's not even Flavor. It's Fravor, Commander Fravor from the Navy, talking about UFOs. These guys are not like this. This Fravor guy is an unquestionable. He's not just some guy, some Yahoo. This guy was a commander in the Navy. his reputation is beyond reproach. And he goes on a show like Joe Rogan and says, this is what we've seen. This is what I have actually seen with my own eyes. This is the conversations that I've had with other pilots who have seen these UFOs, etc. This is disclosure. And when you have someone like Joe Rogan bringing on, for example, Graham Hancock, and he starts talking about alternative looks at history, and guys does talking about the geomagnetics, etc. Oh, his name's gone completely out of my head.
Randall Carlson.
Carlson, thank you. And he brings these guys on who are going to talk about topics that no one is talking about, and he's introducing these topics into society. And like I say, regardless of what your opinion is about Joe Rogan, whether you like him, you don't like him, whatever, he brings forward a lot of fucking information. And we were just watching a show. Funnily enough, Ann and I were both laughing about this. Earlier this week, with a guy named Matthew. His name's gone. I'm sorry, guys. Apparently, I just can't do names tonight. And he's one of his buddies. He's one of Rogan's buddies. Like, so you know what I mean? Like, it's just two guys sitting down and bantering, just talking about anything. But the thing is, like, the subjects they got into were really interesting. Some of the animal stuff, animal kingdom, plant kingdom, all these kind of things. Very, very fucking interesting shit. And then this is the kind of common conversations that he has. So, yeah, I find Rogan very, very interesting. I don't listen to him when he starts talking to the MMA guys and the UFC guys and all that. Nick listens to that stuff because he's into that. But he has had some very, very interesting people on. And he's well worth listening to because he does, for the most part, give them a platform to talk seriously about what they want to talk about.
By the way, for those of you who still watch TV, Discovery Science has a whole bunch of new series that are completely, talking about this disclosure subject that are articulated around, declassified. It's no longer the crazy Greek guy with the ancient astronauts, ancient aliens
with the hair.
There too. They grabbed them again, but they put him talking about air quotes here, serious stuff. But it's all based. Everything is declassified CIA files that they and Air Force and all of that they grab and they analyze and they talk about. So it's quite neat. I saw it at someone's place because I don't have TV.
Well, I'll check it out then on Discovery Science or.
Yeah, Discovery Science. I forget the name of the series, but basically it's their main thing now. They started. It's fairly new.
Cool.
Quite good. Really good. I saw a little bit. Good. Worth it.
This information is coming out, and it's coming out in the mainstream continuously now. There is a continuous drip feeding it in. Continuous. And so I said, people are waiting for this big disclosure announcements, and the one thing I keep saying is that it's happening all around you. Like, it's nonstop, to the point of there was maybe a year or two ago, there was a poll that was put out by one of the big mainstream ones saying how many people in America, for example, believe that we're the only ones in the universe and we're all by ourselves, versus those who believe no, of course there's other beings out there. And it was ludicrous. It was like the numbers were like 90% of the population of America feel that there are other races, other civilizations out there beyond ours. That's huge, because even just 20, 30 years ago, you would not have seen numbers like that. And that's because it is being drip fed into society. So I'm trying to catch up again with the chat.
But I kind of am worried about if mainstream takes the lead role of disclosure and stuff, the way they spin stuff. and yeah, I don't know if
Yeah,
it's such a good thing if they do. No, I get
it's
you
always
totally.
up to us to discern it anyways, isn't it?
Exactly.
Like whether it's politics, this is the whole thing. The average person on the street knows that every politician is a liar. Every banker is a thief. Every lawyer is a crook. That is kind of painted in broad strokes right across all the populations of the world, pretty much. So they know the media is lying. They may not comprehend to the level that we do of just how much they're lying, but they know that the media is bullshitters. So anytime the media comes out with these pieces, people are going to also take it in and be like, there's something here that they're not saying. Oh, what do they actually mean? And it opens the conversation. If nothing else, it opens the conversation. And yeah, you're right. They're always going to spin doctor to whatever their rhetoric and their narrative is. Doesn't mean we have to listen to it. Yep. Yeah, Lori, I can't even remember what the actual Mandela effects were, because there was a slew of them. There was some crazy Mandela effect shit that happened between Christmas and New Year's. And right up into the first week of January. It's fucking still happening. But, I mean, I talked about, I think on the Sunday show that we did between Christmas and New Year's, I talked about what was going on, like literally walking out and seeing the entire coastline here where I live in Gozo being completely changed. Like, so many changes, it literally stopped me dead in my tracks with my hand over my mouth going, what the fuck? And that's like, there's just been tons of them to the point of there's been so many of them now in the last few weeks that I can't even remember them. Like, there's been that many of them, they don't even stand out. No, it's like astounding, like, oh my God, it's now, holy shit, there's another one. Oh, really? And there was a bunch in movies, TV shows, like that kind of stuff where what did I just rewatch something a few weeks ago and went, that's not what I remember. I don't remember that. So yeah, crazy fucking shit. Like,
you know what? I meant to tell you this. Roscoe has this mole on his head, right? That just kept growing and growing and growing. It was just big, you know, and also had this thing like a knot on his jawbone down here, and they're saying, you know, lymphoma and stuff. Do you know that all of that's gone? The mole is now so small, it looks like it did when it first came up, and the knot is not there.
Nice.
So I think that it's a shift.
Yeah, but that's it. I think that probably almost all Mandela effects are that kind of shit, right? But the last, I won't even say the last 3 weeks, because really we know it started up very much, so it's been building since November, where it's just shit's crazy. That's all I can say, is like literally shit's crazy. And it's to the point now where it's become normal. Yeah, that's how could I say? It's so crazy that the shit has actually become normal, to the point where you don't even take any kind of grand notice of it anymore. It's just another daily event. It's just another one of those things, and you just go, and on you go with the rest of your day. So there's no use getting upset. There's no use getting excited even about it, because now it's so common that you're just like, oh, okay, whatever.
But
literally,
you just
whatever.
You just said there made me think about. Yeah, I was thinking of just recently being in Kroger. Even how I'm thinking, oh my God, all this has become so normalized. Even people walking so freaking slowly. I'm like, what the fuck? I can't deal with this. I gotta take a detour. As soon as I get away, around these people, I treat it like traffic, like a car. I'm just, you try, you don't want to be rude or nothing. It's like I told somebody that works there. I'm like, it's like the general population doesn't realize that it can be rude too. Like if you're purposefully just blocking someone's way to get around you just to be an asshole.
But you know what? I think 99% of the time it's not purposefully. People are so in their own heads, so completely oblivious
I know what you
that
mean.
they do things. Because I was in the grocery store fucking 2 days ago, and literally 3 different times, the same two ladies would stop with both their carts side by side in the middle of an aisle and start chatting. And you couldn't get around them, and you'd be like, literally like, excuse me, excuse me, excuse me. And every single time they'd go, oh, I'm sorry. And one of them would move over. Yet the next aisle, they would do the exact same thing again and be just as shocked that time when you say, excuse me, oh, gee, I'm in the middle of the aisle. Because people are literally oblivious to this kind of stuff. They're so in their own little bubble.
It ties into that tunnel vision too to me. It ties into that stuff too of it. It just popped in my head. A lot of people are just, their awareness, they have no awareness of their surroundings.
Yep.
They have no awareness of their surroundings.
Yep, exactly. And that's getting more and more. That's getting more and more prevalent. And I say to everyone, like, when you're out driving, be fucking careful. Because people are just oblivious. It's not like you have to be aware of yourself. It's like you now have to be aware of everyone else on the road around you, because you just don't know. And it's not even a commentary on people being stupid or people not paying attention or people being self-centered. I know a lot of people who themselves have literally all of a sudden been driving and just blanked out and had those, it's just a second, maybe 2. I had a friend of mine who's a long distance trucker who said he says, I was wide awake. I know I was wide awake. At no point in time, you train yourself as a long distance trucker to as soon as you feel the tired symptoms, you pull over and get yourself, either you go get food, you go get coffee, whatever you have to do. He says, I was not asleep. I was not tired. And he says, and all of a sudden, he said, thank God he was somewhere in fucking Saskatchewan, in the middle of buttfuck nowhere of a wheat field. And he found himself driving on the other side of the road. And he has no recollection of, he says, Danny, I don't know how long I was there. Luckily, it's the Trans-Canada Highway. It was fucking empty. But this is a guy who is a professional driver, who knows his limitations, who's really, really on it. All it took was just all of a sudden.
Yeah, it comes back in a moment. I had the same thing happen to me driving with Maury, going through Louisiana. Funnily, over a body of water, it happened to me. I have no recollection of any of it. In fact, when I pop back in the body, I'm sending text to Maurice because I'm thinking I'm running out of gas and we're about to get on a bridge. And he's like, we just got off of one. And I'm like freaking out. I don't even remember anything.
Yep.
That bridge is 20 miles long, by the way. It's just over the swamp in Louisiana on the other side, on the western side of Baton Rouge.
Yeah, I know that bridge.
20 miles long. And she calls me. She says, that big bridge is up ahead. I said, what big bridge are you talking about? The one over Lake Charles, which is a huge bridge. And she says, no, the low one or something like that. I said, Dawn, we just got off the damn thing. She said, what?
I'm telling you, there's some fuckery there. I got pulled out of my body.
But this is what I'm saying. Like, this, I've heard so many people talk about this. And how many instances have we seen of car accidents with cars driving down the wrong side of the road? We've talked about this for months now. Like, this incredible amount of accidents that we're hearing on the news that are coming out, that people are driving on the wrong side of the road, things like that. Well, if you can, if I can blip out halfway down this hallway on the way to the kitchen and not remember what the fuck I got up to do, what do you do if you're in a car and that happens?
But don't you find it interesting that when I called him about because I thought we were about to get on that bridge, so that was my last memory, Danny.
Listen, and I talked about it when we were in Spain. I know that the 3-hour drive that it should have been from Malaga up to Roquetas, I know it didn't take 3 hours. I was still holding the fucking cup of coffee in my hand. I know, but these are the kinds of things that we're talking about, is like when you have these moments, reality is, I want to say, almost like metamorphic at the moment. Reality is not, I don't want to say solid. I don't want to say solid. I don't want to, malleable. Good word, Dawn,
Malleable.
good word. Reality is kind of malleable at the moment. And there seems to be soft spots that happen all over the place. So it's one of those things where you've got to be more aware. Yeah, John, on the stairs? Yeah. Listen, I almost wiped out the stairs myself today. It was such a close thing, and it would have been both arms down on. I just managed to catch myself. Reality is very malleable at the moment, and this is where we're seeing all this shifting stuff that's going on. And all of a sudden, things are not as clear cut as you would expect them to be in the moment.
They got a term for that in astrology, I have learned. Malleable is right, and it makes sense, and I understand that. But I've learned mutable is another word.
Mutable, yep.
And it means
that's another good
effectively
word.
the same thing.
Yep. Okay, well, guys, we are 5 minutes from the end. I got a few things I want to run through before we close off for tonight. Number one, there is no show next week because I will be flying from the UK back to Malta. I will be in the air at that time. So if you want to tune in and we'll try and talk on the airplane, it's not going to happen. But there's no show next week. I will not be around this Sunday for the movie night. So, John, I don't know if you guys want to set up a movie to watch this Sunday. I can put up the poll and you guys can vote on something. I won't be there for Sunday movie night. I'll put the poll. I'll put the same poll up as we had last week and just remove Starman from the poll. And then you guys can go in and add anything else you want to it. I think I can find it. I'm pretty sure I left it in announcements, so I could find it this time. Because I couldn't find it last time. Yeah, so I will be in the UK, near Bristol. I'll just be south of Bristol this weekend on Sunday. And like I said, if anyone who's out there wants to come and meet up with the Unfuckers, the UK branch, there's only going to be a small group of us, but if you feel like coming over, email me to find out the when and where and directions, etc. We'll be in Weston-super-Mare. I have to put a call out. I'm going to be putting a call out here. As you guys know, we're moving to the UK. And it's going to cost us a lot of money. Not so much for the move itself, although there is that, is the closing up of the business here in Malta. We've just been given a massive fucking price ticket to close everything up. I know we can't walk away from it, folks. No, there's those. I've heard this suggestion too. Fuck them and all the rest of it. I can't, for my own reasons. I am going to be doing some crowdfunding because there's no way we're going to be able to make this move without the help of everyone. We have a place to stay. It has no furniture, so it's like as soon as I get to the UK, we have to buy everything. That'll be like, things like beds, tables and chairs, pots and pans, all of that kind of stuff. I've got one awesome unfucker who's going to be very close to me up there, who's already scouting out and collecting up all kinds of stuff for us, things like bedding and blankets and all that kind of, some table. I think she may have some chairs for us. So that's awesome, and I appreciate that. You guys know I don't put call outs a lot. This is a major one. Since we have not been doing the paid memberships on Unfuckers Unite, we don't have monthly money coming in. So therefore we don't have a backstash, because I usually try and save that money up so that when emergencies come up, like whether John has emergencies, whether I have emergencies, there's money we can pull from.
That holds the membership.
Yeah, well, that's it. Or that's what the membership was. For years, we've had Unfuckers Unite when we had a $5 a month membership, which we no longer have. So because of that, okay, Star, please.
I was going to say real quick that you said at one point, like, yeah, that was the other problem. What was it? Like maybe half the members were actually paid members, maybe half of them, and the rest.
Not even half. Not even half. We only had about 25% of the members were paying members.
That's what it was, not even half. So yeah, that was the other problem.
Right. So we do not have that slush fund to pull from this time. I'm going to pull out whatever we have to help us pay off all this fucking taxation debt that we're going to have to pay. But I'm going to be having to do a crowdfunding, and I no choice. This is the only way we're going to be able to get the move on. Getting the company set up again is of vital importance, obviously. As soon as we can get the company reset up again in England and get moving, then we have money coming in, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, so if you can keep your eyes open for that, I am going to do a GoFundMe, as much as I hate fucking GoFundMes, but I will put together a GoFundMe and I'll outline what we need and what we're going to be looking for. And anyone in the UK, if you guys can help out, like, I'm not picky. Everything I own is secondhand anyway. So if anyone in the UK has got used furniture or anything like that, I am gratefully accept anything with open arms. Yeah, so I'll put something out when I get back. The UK trip this weekend is to go get paperwork started to get the move made official, get my citizenship put in place. So yeah, so there we go. So John just said we have enough money in the kitty to keep the server going for another 3 months, and that's it. Because there's no money coming in to Unfuckers Unite now to pay for all these monthly bills, and the server bills, et cetera, come in monthly. So it's one of those things that we need to kind of figure out, as usual. It's always that way, unfortunately. There is PayPal. There's a notice on all the sites, on Unfuckers Unite, on RTS Earth, and on Guy's Garden. There's a notice with where you can make a donation to help with the move fund.
There are multiple options. There are single donations. There's reoccurring donations if you want to go that route. Any one of those vectors, they all go to the same place. So it doesn't matter which route you take, whether it's click on the tech support assistance or the any of the PayPal links. They all go to the same place.
No, because the one for the for funding for the move is actually goes to my PayPal, but all the other ones all go to the UU RTS PayPal that keeps the sites up and running.
Yeah, and it's not just the UU site; it's all of them. It's Guy's Garden, it's Levity Med, Levity Light. They're all on the same server.
Everything
is on that server.
So if I send you something, I'll just get with you and you can bill me for it?
Yeah, huh?
Can we do it that way?
Yeah. Just send me a message afterwards.
I can't do PayPal, girl.
Yeah, I know. PayPal hates you.
I fucking hate them.
Yeah, it's a mutual thing with me too. Trust me.
And
one of the awesome things about moving to the UK is I will have all kinds of payment options that I can use in the UK that I can say fuck you to PayPal and never use them again.
Yep.
Hey,
just to be fair, everybody. Just to be fair to everybody, Danny and I we both know everybody's in the same boat. Everybody's hurting.
Yep.
If you can't help, then you can't help. If you can, please try.
Yeah. No, I get that, and that's why I always feel I hate putting out calls out for crowdfunding. I really, 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 really don't like it. Because I know everyone's hurting. And I know that we're all tapped out. And we've all got our own shit that we got to deal with.
And I don't like PayPal.
Sorry, hun?
And I don't like PayPal. If you find another, as I said and I wrote, I would like to do something with this other we talked about.
The Revolut? You got to just send me a private message, Mercedes, and we'll discuss it. Because right now Revolut's we're having a problem with our Revolut card. Why? Because of the Maltese government.
No way.
Yes way. Yes way. The Maltese government is now fucking us on our Revolut. It's like, because it's not just PayPal. It's like anything the Maltese government can fucking touch, they will fuck it up so bad. Yeah, it's unbelievable. I'm not even going to talk about the shit that they just pulled. And we were told by Revolut that it's Maltese government rules. And even though they're breaking EU law, literally breaking EU law with the demands that they're making. That's another story. I don't even want to talk about that.
Where should I message you? Also,
on
Gaia's Garden?
Yeah. If you just send me a message on my email, Danny@gaiasgarden.com.
Okay.
Or Danny@rts.earth, whichever one. Right, so I'm gonna let you guys.
I'll interrupt Danny for one thing because she's gonna hate me for saying this. But you guys on YouTube who follow our channel, I see your comments, and I know some of you are absolute followers and you love the content she does. She will now have to, because I said it. So she will post the links that she talked about, or screenshot the page at the end of the show, or something. She knows best how to do that stuff. If you can help, please do it. Let's keep this content alive. Let's keep Danny and her family, safe on the move, as fast and painless as possible. Love you guys. And thank you, YouTube watchers.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you, Fred. Yes, I will put the links in here. You'll see them scrolling across your screen when I do the recording. I'll definitely put them in there. That's it for us, guys. We're done for tonight. I gotta go to bed. I'm fucking tired, man. No show next Wednesday. Sunday night movie. I'll put the poll up. I'll do it right now. I'll go do it right now. I promise. And then I won't be there for the Sunday night movie. I will hopefully get some little bit of video footage of our meetup in the UK. It won't be live, but I'm sure I can get some video footage to put out there so that we can put a little video up of everyone saying hi. And that's it for us, guys. I'm going to say goodnight to Twitchland. Good night, everyone out in Twitch on the live stream, and I'll see you guys the next Wednesday. Bye.